Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Utopia ASMR. I thought it would be only fitting to start off this channel with some of my favorite movies. You'll come to know that I'm kind of a movie buff. Let's start off with the dreaded prequel series. Now, as you may have been aware, I don't have proper camera equipment nor sound equipment. That's all to come. So, we'll start off with The Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace was and is known to be the least favorite of all the Star Wars. And no, Jar Jar Binks is not my favorite. And we should start off with, or continue with, Attack of the Clones. Getting better as the series progresses. Still, there isn't enough sand to go around, because it gets everywhere. And the third. Hello there. There isn't really much to say. The third was the first Star Wars movie I had ever seen in theaters. It was good for the time, but it cannot compare to the originals. Episode 4, A New Hope. I was very skeptical when my father first showed me this. Of course, when you're a child, the fancy laser swords, all the battles, and everything appeal to you. Less so the originals, unless you were born with this sort of thing. I didn't come to appreciate the originals until I was a bit older. The first of the originals is quite the film. There's a lot of magic behind it. And in fact, the fight between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan was recently remastered by fans. And it was more prequel-y, laser sword fighty. But it still was pretty magical. Then The Empire Strikes Back, arguably the best sequel in any movie's history. I love it, and I know it. The Return of the Jedi, Episode 6. Well, that has got to be my favorite Star Wars movie, and it isn't that way for most people. I like it because you get to see Darth Vader for what he truly is, a man of suffering and pain, He was good all along, and you get to see that goodness come out one last time. And I hope we get to see more of it when this series ends in December. Moving on to what's up here. The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, I think, is worse than the Phantom Menace. Only because you cannot relive, in the words of Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, you cannot relive the magic of the originals into the new movies. It's hard to do. And unfortunately, I don't have the dreaded Last Jedi. Honestly, I don't know what they were thinking with that. Leia in space. But moving forward, the end of this movie starts off with Rey giving the family heirloom Anakin Skywalker lightsaber to Luke. And it was such a powerful experience and moving. It was a good scene. And it was trashed by The Last Jedi, where Luke just throws it over his shoulder. You really lost a lot of the magic in that. This series has been awesome for me, and I'm glad I just got to be a part of it. Through bad, through good, through pain. And unfortunately, the series comes to an end in December. But that brings forth a new series. And my favorite character of all, Obi-Wan Kenobi, gets his own series later, sometime forward into the 2020s. And the show The Mandalorian, starring the Red Viper from Game of Thrones, which that Game of Thrones will be a future episode on a later date. That was quite the series. Unfortunately, the ending was not to my liking, but the rest of the show was quite the series. And depending on where you are in the world, it could have been amazing to see the sets. I hear in the last episode, one of the last episodes, they recreated an entire city just to destroy it. And yes, winter is coming. And I live in a very foresty area, and I will take the knowledge I have learned from a fellow ASMR, Gaslamp ASMR. I might do some walks in the woods, but that'll all be in the future, once I get my better equipment. I would like to hear what you guys have to say about the Star Wars series. It's quite the adventure. Who was your favorite character? Was it Yoda? Was it the Emperor? Was it Kylo Ren, Han Solo, Leia, Luke Skywalker? I'd like to know. Tell me why it's your favorite character. I'll tell you mine. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor has got to be one of the most underrated actors out there, right next to Christoph Waltz. You may know him from Quentin Tarantino's Django or Inglourious Bastards. The man is very underrated. I haven't seen Ewan McGregor in much since The Impossible, which was a fantastic movie. The reason why Ewan McGregor does such a great job as Obi-Wan Kenobi is because he portrays Obi-Wan in such a unique way, given that Alec Guinness was all that he could go off. We got so little in the original series of Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's all he had to go off of. And he put in his all and gave us the best he could. And we all know the famous meme, "Hello there, General Kenobi." It was a great scene, but it was so uncivilized. Let's talk more about these characters. Luke. This is not the Luke Skywalker that I knew in the originals. This is a hermit that lived in a cave and drank weird milk. Not the blue milk, weird milk. Green milk. Anyway, when he said, "What am I supposed to do? Take on the First Order with a laser sword?" That's exactly what I expected him to do. But no. Leia is Leia. I really wasn't amazed with her performance. Chewbacca. You gotta love Chewbacca. Poe Dameron, the new flyboy, the new hotshot, replacing Han Solo, which is another thing I hated about these movies. They are taking old, interesting characters and killing them off to make way for much less interesting characters. I mean, obviously, Harrison Ford wanted to be written off, which the reason being is because he didn't think that Han Solo was his most interesting character that he's played in movies. And people keep asking him, how would you feel if all these people came up to you and asked you about the character that you least liked? He wanted to be written off for a good reason. However, that doesn't make it any worse. He was a good character and I will miss him. Finn is Finn. And Kylo, probably one of the most interesting characters in the new series. Unfortunately, we won't get to see his end until December. I have my own fan theories about what will happen in that film. Anyway, I have to cut this short. This was a very interesting experience, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Till next time, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends.